you see this boat, you're going to be dazzled. Oh, they look pretty sparkly, don't they? The Dutch don't fool around, do they? No, all of the woodwork on here it's all 10s. It's great. This boat is really perfect inside. I hadn't noticed that, but that is brilliant. Just isn't any prettier boat on the water. Oh my gosh, Rando. This is Captain Q and my old sailing buddy Randy. Join us as we travel hither and yon as we look for some great deals on classic boats and learn a little with each one. Hey Randy! What a great day. Here we are in beautiful Barrington, Rhode Island. Today we are on kind of an old dream boat of mine that I saw in a wonderful pictorial essay of photos out in San Francisco Bay. There was this yawl that was leaping out of the waves in that crazy water underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, and I love the lines on the boat. She was long and sleek and a great overhanging bow and beautiful transom, one of only 6 that were ever built, and this is a Seafarer 45. Sometimes known as a Sailmaster 45. She was designed by Olin Stevens, and she was designed around 1961. And if you were to see her underbody, it's again one of the last vestiges of Stevens hanging onto a full keel with an attached rudder. The rudder's pulled up a little bit behind, so it's a smaller area, but if you look at it in profile, it's very rounded. Stevens designed, at the request of a man named Cornelius Shields, a fiberglass 30-foot boat to replace the IOD, International One Design wooden boats that were racing around Long Island. And it was called a Shields. And I had the good fortune to be able to sail one of those one entire summer. And I pulled it up and I thought, let's see what that looks like. You could lay the two right almost on top of one another. So when you see this boat, you're going to be dazzled. Long and pretty. She's narrow. Her beam's about 11 feet. Draws a little over 6 feet, about 6 feet 4 inches. There's a little code on a lot of the sailboat information you get, and they'll have a number for a capsize screening factor, and the number is 2. And if you're above 2, you have a greater likelihood of capsizing and maybe not even recovering from it. Under 2, you will probably not capsize. You may take a knockdown, but you'll pop back up. This is a 1.4. The owner has raced this to Bermuda a couple of times. He won his class going in the Marion Bermuda. We're lucky to be aboard today on a beautiful day, clouds overhead and sunshine. We love the subscribers.
Yeah, more subscribers means that we're going to get recommended to more people, and so that helps spread the love and spread the word about old classic boats and what we're doing, so every little bit helps.
Thanks again. All right, Randy.
Yeah.
Oh, there you Where'd you come from? Real period piece cockpit. I just have to put it that way. A little reminiscent of the Northeast 38, although it's bigger. There's a little more room, but we have the smaller wheel right now that today all wheels on sailboats have to be so big that you can hardly hold on to them, or worse, they'll put 2 wheels back here. You've got engine instrumentation. We have marine array up here of apparent wind speed, depth, GPS. I like that a lot more, I think, than the rig where they're putting everything on top of the hand grip here, right?
Yep. Because
when you're up here, this is fine, but if it's raining or sprayed, that's going to get covered. I like these hunkered down underneath the Dodger. A really good, strong, beautiful Dodger, by the way. This boat does have an interesting main sheet rig, and not unusual for back in that period. And as you see right now, I have a Schaefer stainless steel double block that would probably just about fit into the side of my head, right? The present owner has a series of preventers that he can run up on a track on the rail there that'll keep this whole boom in control. This boat originally came with the typical Sparkman Stevens bridge deck with the drop-down hole. I like still having the 2 companionways that he's created here. They made a lovely companionway entrance, and it's got its own little stairway going below, and there's still the secondary companionway going down to the main saloon. My favorite pal here, I love this guy, don't we? And
Baby mast?
We love our little mizzen mast here.
Yeah.
This boat is immaculate everywhere. We don't have to point out any flaws to her, frankly. The winches are all sparkly. He's got a hydraulic back stay here. Coming aft, right beside me here is the two-speed self-tailing winch for the main sheet. So the helmsman could reach back here and crank the main sheet in. I find that just a little bit clumsy, but you know, again, when a boat is this old and it's been sailed for so long by one man who has raced it offshore and cruised it, I'm not going to make a whole lot of changes on day one. Nice teak hatches here, all varnished inside and everything. Here's his propane tank. This whole locker is totally sealed. There's a little propane sensor down there in case there is a leak, and if that hole should get filled up here.
See that the can is bolted down?
Yep.
Which is nice.
That's not going anywhere, and that's a 20-pound tank.
That's unlike my boat.
Back here, he's got a man overboard module right here. This one contains a whole bunch of stuff in it. One pull, and that whole thing will pop open and kind of explode open. It's almost like an airbag in your car. Beautiful, staunch metalwork here in the stern. The old chain plate here for the sloop rig is still in place, and they've got the stern push pit attached to that, and as Randy noted, there's a couple of opening gates back there. It could help you get back on board the boat. Nice bronze fair leads for the cleats. And that's all the original stuff you can see right there, all from the Netherlands. One thing that Randy is particularly fond of, if you look along closely here, there's a little of silicone that's been put on, and the idea there is to let water just flow by that and not get stuck. And next thing you know, you got a big stain growing up here and it gets ugly. And look at the beautiful finish on this tow rail.
This does remind me, even the one on your hand, the combing.
All of the woodwork on here it's all 10s. It's great. Okay, Randy, let me see how this locker looks. Oh, that's okay, isn't it?
Not too shabby.
Now, the reason for this is so big is that originally this had a double quarter berth back here. It's got a big duct here for pulling air out of the engine room. And that's nice because it, first of all, it helps pull air into the engine room, and diesel engines need a lot of air. But the other thing is it just keeps any errant diesel odor. There's always something. It might be a small drip. It could be just fumes. Get them out of there. Very nice cushion work out here. I think this is a little untidy, don't you? Can I straighten that out a little bit?
Yeah, please.
I like the fender bumper area, don't you?
It's a good harbinger for a well-kept boat.
Should we take a walk forward, shall we? What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, Randy.
Yeah.
Let's head north a little bit. Now, we've got an 11-foot beam, so this isn't an aircraft carrier, but look again how much waterways I have. And still, the cabin trunk is not that narrow. It's interesting combination how it's just small inches every time in a design, isn't it, that makes these little differences. She has a nice set of wind vents here that were made by Hood, and beautiful long Dorade boxes there too.
The owner said he custom made these, and the whole Dorade box pops off for the winter, so you can take them back home and revarnish them.
You love these varnishing stories, don't you?
I do, yeah. That's someone who's planned ahead, you know?
This boat has all been spec'd out for Bermuda race regulations. So they've got the 1x19 bare wire here, and it's brand new. It looks very fresh.
Talk to me about the chain plates.
The owner did pull those out and refabricate this whole piece and the plate here. And look at all the bolts. We've never seen that many stainless fastenings, have we?
No.
All brand new turnbuckles coming up to your Norseman fittings. Beautiful hatch with a translucent.
Look at that.
You like that?
You nailed it.
Translucent cover on it. Plastic.
This groove is kind of something I haven't seen before.
Well, the groove is for a Dodger, and it'll take a piece of rope on it, and the canvas will be sewed to the piece of rope, and you can slide it up there, and it makes for a very watertight fitting. You might want to pop it open this way, nice warm, sunny, breezy day, or if it's rainy or sloppy, you close the hatch, and there's another set of hinges on the back here that you pull the pins out of and reverse it, but then you can open up the hatch this way. Then this Dodger will fit right over here, and any wind, rain, spray, anything, nothing's going below. And there's a similar one right on the midship hatchway too. The decks have been repainted recently too, and I want to say in the last couple of years, but they're just immaculate. She didn't come with a bow roller, so he's added that. A massive, massive nose piece here though. Look at this, look at all this stainless here. The Dutch don't fool around, do they? He's got a good old, it looks like a good old CQR down there, I think, is it? Or is it a...
It's a little more flared out.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I don't recognize it offhand. But he's got a little swivel on the chain here.
Oh, that's nice.
We don't see that too often.
No, that's a great idea.
And it comes back to a nice Lumar electric windlass. And this is the chain plate, so to speak, for the staysail. And that'll go right up just below the steaming light on the mast. There's also a set of Dyneema, it looks like, lines here. There's one on each side to be used as running backstays.
Wow, that's the spinnaker pole to end all spinnaker poles.
Well, it's a spinnaker pole that fits.
Okay.
It is, the length of this is the same length as the front of the mast to the very bow of the boat. If somebody were to own this boat, I understand there might be a couple of spinnakers left over in a closet somewhere. Maybe you could still hoist it.
All right.
I would. All right, Randy.
Yeah.
What do you say we head below, buddy?
Oh, let's do it.
Follow me. Hey, Randy, come on down, buddy.
All right.
A little different start today.
Oh.
Yeah, just to kind of see if our viewers are snoozing or not. This is not the main saloon. And it's not the main salon either.
Which one do you get your haircut at?
I don't know. This is not the main saloon. This chart table is new. It's aft facing. Again, we like to face forward, just my own mental framework, but on the other hand, to fit this in, and he's done a fabulous job of it, you've got to have it aft facing, but you can also then talk to somebody right up through the companionway. All the stock repeaters for his Ray Marine instruments, his apparent wind direction, speedometer, depth. This little box up here is your remote control. So if you were powering somewhere out in the middle of the ocean and you had a feeling you wanted to come down here and check the chart, just push your button right here and you change your course. All his instrumentation is here. He's moved it all back here. On this boat originally, you have to understand that this had this giant Mustang berth in here and one on the other side. And what else was happening back here? Oh, and there was no opening here. There was just a window. They just had a rectangular window. It was about that long and about that tall. And you could open up for ventilation and you could hand sandwiches through, but you couldn't come down. So he's made a lot of sense out of opening up this back space. Should we look inside?
I'm anticipating something good here.
Okay, boom.
Oh, oh wow.
Now, the pencil and the pen are in opposite directions. Is that appropriate?
And they're not quite at 90-degree angles.
No. Let's move that a little bit. And I'm going to shift the pencil over this way.
You got the little mirror on your way out the door.
I hadn't noticed that, but that is brilliant. Because when you go on deck, you want to look very captainly, don't you?
Well, especially if you're going to be doing the posture shots at the mizzen.
Look at the size of this quarter berth.
Call it a double or a 1 3/4?
It's certainly, I mean, that would be a normal size right there. Well, I take it back. A normal sea berth would be about that width. Yeah. This is actually a double sea berth width. This is the, just an after head. And unlike, some other arrangements on these boats, the after head is a little less, there we go. It's a little less sophisticated in that it doesn't have the full shower and the basin and all that, does it?
No.
But is it nicely fitted out?
It's beautiful.
So we're back over in the galley, which isn't very far from where I was. Not the world's most counter space. It's okay. You don't need that much space to make sandwiches, but look at this nice board that's been cut. It's a Corian type of material. The owner was kind enough to show us this thing, and he just picked it up very lightly and moved it to the other side of the boat. I now realize that he's a lot stronger than I am. But anyway, here's the reverse side of that piece. These grooves are cut to lock into a 3-burner propane from Frank Luke. I'm going to take a peek in here because I think this has been cooked in. Now on this side, we have a pretty large ice box.
Oh, humans, yeah.
There we go. Now, charts don't always come in books. They sometimes come in sheets this big. And just a half fold of a chart will allow you to put the whole chart down in here. This whole piece slides in here nicely. plate storage. I like these little pin fiddles.
Oops.
These can actually be removed. You can pull that right out.
Is that your belaying pin?
It's a belaying pin, right? Boink, boink, boink. Look at that.
Huh.
Pretty nice.
Seems like it's a little empty.
Randy, did those nice people at Hormel ever get back to you?
No, haven't heard from them.
Okay, here we go. Our ubiquitous pan storage.
Maybe our viewers can write to Hormel and let them know.
Hey, there's a great idea. If they would each just write, everybody who viewed it, if they could write one letter for every time they viewed it, Hormel would get, what, 10 million letters? And then we could have more Dinny Moore for everybody. Nice big sink and pressure hot and cold water, single deal. And it's got the pull-out gizmo here. So we looked at that Swan's 36 where he had made a special point of getting the engine as far forward as possible.
And down low, too.
And
right?
down low, too. Why would he get it down low?
Oh, keep that as ballast.
Yep,
Yeah.
keep that extra weight down low so the boat doesn't heel over in a big blow. So this just hooks right up here. I'm going to pull that board off. Look at that. Wow.
This looks pretty fresh.
This actually, I think, was 1991.
Okay.
I want to say. So about halfway through the boat's life. So this piece comes off. And now if you really want to get into surgery here, I believe I can do this for you.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you
Look
go.
at that. It has its own little Raycor closet. Really nice clean engine bed down here. The bilge has got some dust in it, and so it looks a little, you know, dirty. Okay, just down here, I got a little black off the front of the engine, which tells us that it's had a little bit of wear on the belts, but this belt looks pretty fresh, so I'm presuming it was a previous belt. Probably one of the better accesses for an engine that doesn't have its own room. So Randy, this was originally the chart table in the original design of the boat. Still certainly usable for that. All the electrics have been replaced. What do you say we head forward here?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Hey, let's talk about what's happened in this boat. As we did on the PB, I went in and decided to see what we could do to use every square inch and make the boat as comfortable as possible while not only racing, but also when you get to St. George or Hamilton Harbor in Bermuda. And so the owner here has done the same thing. He's gotten rid of the pilot berths on either side. He's put in this nice ceiling outboard, placed some shelves for odds and ends, and some storage lockers, and moved the whole operation further out, so that I now have a very broad seat here on these nice sort of velour-like cushions, and I'm quite comfortable. This table also spins so that I've got room right now sitting here to get up and move about, or when we all want to sit down and have dinner. This is very lovely. By the way, this piece of wood, this is one piece of mahogany right here.
Wow.
Look at the space on this settee here. It's giant. This does not pull out. It used to, but it does not pull out right now. They've just made it wide enough so that you don't need to pull it out. This shelf is notched into the that little vertical bulkhead there, and you'll find the inside leg of that chain plate. And you can check it out and see if it's leaking or have any problems. But this boat is really perfect inside. Randy, what's the one thing as we look around that we're missing down here?
Well, in New England, I'd say a little stove.
Right. And right there was an old tin stove that was big back in the day. And they kind of rusted and burned themselves out. I think the owner was a little concerned that it could do more damage than just rust itself out.
Yeah.
So he's taken it off. You and I, on day 2, we're out here screwing in the new propane or wood-burning stove, either one. Okay. Do we like this bilge?
This is tidy.
And remember, we're sitting in water too, aren't we?
Yep.
So no water's getting in this bilge. This spar has got a cutaway hole here to allow the owner to make adjustments on the fore and aft placement of the foot of the mast.
That's not the original mast section, is it?
No. And it's funny you asked that because I think he mentioned this, the Hurricane Bob. This boat left her mooring and slid under a bridge and wiped out all the spars and the rigging and everything. Okay, Randy.
Oh.
These are the water tanks down here. There's two 70-gallon water tanks, so she's carrying 140 gallons of water. And then I'm going to show you the sump, which is right at the end of these tanks.
Oh, wow.
There. Now this box has got all of his 4GM battery banks in there, right underneath this cover.
Okay.
And he's actually got a 2x4 that will stretch across this to further bolt the cover on top of the batteries.
Okay.
Come on forward here. Now, the headroom in this boat changes a little bit because they didn't need the full headroom all the way, and the owner was maybe not quite as tall as the captain. So they've picked up some more floor space there and storage area underneath, and then likewise coming up here, this one more step here. Now, what do you think about that?
Oh my goodness. This is
I'm gonna have to go give that a try, do you think?
what is that, a disco parlor?
Could you use a little Donna Summer music on? Oh my gosh. Rando. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah. So he's just got an open sump right here, and it works perfectly. Look at this. He's got a floating switch bilge pump down there. That little white switch on the side, to the left,
Yep.
that will float up and turn on your bilge pump. And in this case, a sump pump.
What about hair and that kind of thing?
There's probably underneath that pump, there's probably a little screen
Yeah.
before it gets to the blades. Look, we've got a Big Daddy filler.
Nice.
And look at this, we got a little baby filler too.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
There's a rack right under here that has the board
Yep.
that goes underneath this.
That's always great because those things tend to fly around if you don't have a good home for them.
Oh, they're really a nuisance. There's got to be a better way to do it. I don't recall having such a good view out these port lights.
I think that was one of the reasons the owner said he elevated the floor, is that he wanted to be able to look straight out.
It's time.
It's time.
We've had a good time here today. Do you like this boat?
It's gorgeous. It's one of the nicest boats we've ever seen.
It really is, isn't it? All right, I'm going in, buddy. And I'm just going to flip right in here because back in those days, they knew how to build a bunk you could flip into.
And guess what?
Right. Oh, oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, we don't have... Look at the other end here.
Oh yeah.
They're not pointy, are they?
You mean the toes?
No, the berth, the cushions. Yes. Look at the berth cushions. What a treat to be here today on this Seafarer 45 yawl, Sparkman Stevens design. Just isn't any prettier boat on the water.
I'll leave you alone with that thought.
Good night, Randy. Once again, we've scored big time. I've thought about that boat a lot over the years, many years, probably 10, 15, 20 years. And so to actually get aboard her and see how the captain fit, to see a couple changes made to it that I would have suggested making to the other boat. Everything from utilizing the after cabin better, adding a navigation table back there, also more importantly, a companionway out of the cockpit. The boat was meticulous inside, the varnish work, the woodwork, much of which was accomplished by the owner. It had 2 heads, enough to sleep 6 people if you want to, and if you want to go to Bermuda, I'm afraid I might have misspoke a little bit. He didn't win his class going to Bermuda. He only got 2nd, Marion Bermuda race. What is it we like most about the boat?
2 masts.
And she's a yawl rig, and apparently, according to the owner, she's a good musher. Delightful boat, handsomely priced. She's floating, because we were standing aboard her, wasn't she? And another 10, because she's beautifully finished and laid out and taken care of. I'm going to give her another 10, because it's a boat I've hungered for all these years and finally wanted to see one. How many is that? 30.
30, all right.
And Randy, I'm going right to the 40. This is fat up to 40. 40 for this boat because she's been well taken care of.
Yeah.
And
I've got a few reminders for you.
oh my gosh, what do you have?
Nav station, tidiness.
The nav station was perfect. What did she get? 2 points for that?
Yeah.
Okay, she's at 42 now. Was there something else you noticed?
The silicone gasketing around the...
Oh, gets another 2 points for that, right?
Yeah.
That's 4. We're up to
44.
great boat. We were lucky to be on it. Thanks so much, and thank you all for watching. Come on back next week. If you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when the next one comes out, please hit the alert bell. And that's not desperate at all. Randy, how would I ever find out what's coming up next?
You can follow us on Instagram here,
Yeah.
or Facebook here. We'll have little previews of what's coming up on our next episodes. A little bit early.
That's pretty cool. Previews. You all join me. I'm going to Instagram right now, and I'm going to find out what's coming up next week. Thank you very much.
You know, Instagram's not a place.